everyone, this is the chapter 12 training assignment, and this is the first movie in the series. And this chapter is all about automating the system that you're developing with macros. So in trying to refine the interface for your users. And so we're going to spend some time learning how to do macros in Access. And it's a little different than the other types of macros that you've done, if you've done them in Word or you've done them in Excel, where it just kind of, you know, the basic ones where it captures work like keystrokes. That's not what this is going to be, right? This is actually going to be setting up steps and processes. Although it mimics the actions that you're going to do, you have to find the corresponding code to mimic that action. So if we look at our instruction sheet, I have the file open. It's this SPA application, and I have enabled it. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to look at an existing macro, and we're going to add a comment block to it. So if we look at our object pane, notice that we have a new section here, and that section is for macros. You know, up to now we've done tables, queries, forms, and reports. So this is the fifth object type that we see on our pane. So I want to open up the sample macro in Design View. So I do it the same way I've done other objects. I just right click on the name and I click on Design View. And I'm going to just close that navigation pane up. So now what we see is an existing macro. And if we look at what this macro does, it opens a report, and that report is called Report Employee Schedule in Report View, and it runs the print, right? So it runs the print object. So, okay, so those are steps that we could do manually, right? We could open up the Report Employee Schedule in Report View and print. So what we're going to do is add a comment block to the top. So one of the things before we get going is in this macro tools where it has the show hide, I want you to click on the show all actions. And then when we start putting information in, we'll have everything available. Since I want to put a comment at the top, I'm going to use the action catalog over here and just double click on comment. It's going to put it in here, and I'm going to end up moving it over. So what we want to do here is this macro opens the employee list report and sends it to the printer, period. And I want it, it says to the top of the macro. So I'm going to use this green arrow right here to move it up to the top. Okay? So it didn't matter that I put it in below. I'm going to close up this action catalog because we're not going to really use that. All right. So now it says add a message box action to the macro, and in the message box argument type blah, blah, blah. Okay, so what the heck is this message box? Well, if you think about running an application, you know, you'll get a box up that has information in it, right? You know, whether it's printing or whatever as you're moving through. That's what a message box is. So if we take a look at this add new action right here, and we just do the down arrow key, and remember I have show all actions, I'm going to scroll down there in alphabetic order and find message box. My message that I want to put in the message box is the report is now being sent to the printer. verify that beep is yes, so it's going to give an audio sound. In select information for the type. So right here we have none. We're going to do the down arrow and make it informational. And then the title is printing report. So we have the message. We have the message. Oh my gosh, sorry. We have the message built, but where it is right now, if you think about the logic of this, you open the report, you print the report, and then you put out the message, hey, it's being printed. Wouldn't it make sense that you send the message that says, hey, it's being sent to the printer right before and not after? Okay, so we want to move this message box up one so that the order makes more sense. So we open the report, we prompt the user for the message that it's being printed, and then we print it. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to save it, and I'm going to run it. So here's our message. See, look, our report got displayed, and if I click OK here, it's going to go to the printer, right? So if I don't have paper, if I'm not ready, this gives me pause in order to initiate the printout. It would not make sense to have this after it's already gone to the printer, right? Do you see that? So I'm going to do OK. And I'm just going to cancel here because I don't really want to print it. So it worked. So we have that done. So I have that saved. I'm going to close out of this report. I'm going to close out of this macro because I saved it. Okay, so if we take a look at number 4, we're going to look at this troubleshooting example. So right click in design, and it's going to bring up a macro. So let's just go through what we're going to do. So first of all, we have a comment. One of the things that you know when it's in green and it's italicized, it's comment. It begins with the slash asterisk and ends with the asterisk slash. And what that means is that Access will ignore whatever's between those characters. So we have a message box that says, hey, this is a message box. Its purpose is to provide information. I'm a message box. I bet we're going to change that. Go to record in a form. Go to a specific field on the form, and then open the form. So what's illogical about that? How can I go to a record on a form if I haven't opened the form, right? So the order that you place things on your macros matters. So let's go ahead and see. So we opened our macro in Design View. We're good with that. So now we want to use this single step tool. So right up here next to the run in the tools, there's the single step. So I'm going to activate that, right? So I'm going to turn it on and see how it's gray. Now if I click run, it's going to move line by line through. All right, so I'm going to step. There's the message box. Go to record. I'm going to step, and I have an error. Hey, I can't go to record because the object that you're trying to go to in isn't open yet. Okay, so I'm going to stop all macros. And let's fix them. So what we want to do is we want to take the open form up and put it after the message box, but before the go to record. So all I'm going to do is click into that action, and I'm going to move it up, move it up. So now we're going to prompt, we're going to open the customer form, we're going to go to a record in the customer form, a new record, right? And we're going to put our cursor on the customer first name. So if I save that, I turn off single step, and I run it. Let's see if it works. Okay, here's my message box. There's my form opened. I'm in a new, and I'm in that first field. Boom, it worked perfect. All right, so let's see. We have all of this number 4 done. And I'm going to stop here because step 5 has us create a new macro on our own. Yay. So that's just an introduction into how a macro works and how important it is that you place things in the correct order. All right, thank you.